Hey there, this is Ed from Barnabas Robotics. I'm here today to start a series of videos to show you how to design and build a self-opening trash can. So if you think of trash cans that you may have seen either at restaurants or maybe even in your home, where rather than opening it up with your hand or even stepping on something to have it open, you want to be able to just wave at it and it opens by itself. Okay, so I'm going to use that project to explain what robotics is and also learn about robots. So in this video, the first thing we're going to do is talk about, okay, how are we going to uh, build this thing? And so this process is called design. And just a quick note on design. So design is to come up with your ideas and to put them onto paper using words and pictures so that you know exactly what you want to do before you actually start building. It's kind of like a blueprint, if you will. So if you think of building a house or something, you want to have some blueprints for the house before you actually start getting construction workers to start building it. So same idea here. So we're going to design our trash can here, and we're also going to be not doing a real trash can. We're going to be building a prototype. So a prototype is something where you've built the thing, but it's not the real thing. It's something that like a stepping stone, but it gives you the concept. It gives you the idea of like what the real thing would be. So I want to go simple. We're just going to use a box for our trash can rather than the metal trash can or something like that. So the first thing you're gonna need is you're gonna need your kit. Now this is the Magic Box kit. There's a few different ones. This is the workshop one that I'm working with. So if you need a kit, make sure you get the workshop one. Okay, so we have our box here, and let's go ahead and draw that in our design. Okay, because that's gonna be our trash can. All right, so here we go. I got my whiteboard, and I'm gonna label it. Let's call it our magic box, because it's going to be a magical box that opens and closes by itself. All right, so the first thing we need here is a box with a lid. Okay, so here, box with a lid. Cool. The next thing that we want to think about here, and I'll kind of pull this stuff out as I talk. All right, open the box here. We're gonna need this. Okay, this is the Uno computer. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that in here. Uno computer. So I'll put the Uno in there. Now the role of this Uno computer is that it's going to be like the brain of the robot. So when I explain robotics, I like to use like our human body. So the first thing that we drew was the box, right? So the box is like our body. It's the robot's body. It's the stuff that you can feel. It's going to be made out of wood, metal, plastic. In our case, it's made out of cardboard. The next thing that we're looking at is the brain. Okay. Now the brain of the robot, which is the Uno computer here, that's job is to control. Its job is to control the whole robot. You know, just like the way our brain controls the rest of our bodies, the Uno computer is the robot's brain that's going to control the opening and closing of the box. All right. Now, what else do we need? We're going to need a motor. Okay, a motor in robotics is something that makes other stuff move. Okay, like a motor in the car. The motor helps the car move. So if you want movement, you're gonna need some kind of motor. For us, we're gonna need if you look at, you're gonna need this to open and close. Okay, so you're gonna need a motor to be attached to this lid somehow. All right, we have the motor. What else do we need? We're gonna need a sensor. Okay. Now a sensor is a thing that senses other stuff. So how is the box gonna know that I put my hand in front of it? Right? The only way it can know is using some kind of sensor that's able to detect my hand without me actually touching it. Okay, so we're gonna have some type of sensor. We'll get there when we get there, but we know that we're gonna have to have some kind of sensor. And then for me, I'm also gonna have some lights. Okay, whenever you build robots, it's a good idea to have at least one light. At the very least, you're gonna have one light to tell whoever's using it that if the robot is on or that it has batteries. All right, because if you don't have any lights, it's kind of you don't know if there's battery or not. Now for us, we're gonna put more than one light just because it's kind of fun, and we'll, you know, when we get there, it'll be cool with more than one light. So I'm gonna put more than one, but I'll just call it lights. All right. Okay. So I think that covers the main parts. Let's go ahead and draw some lines here. So the lights are going to be connected to the computer. The sensor is also going to be connected to the computer, and the motor is also going to be connected to the Uno computer. Because remember I said the Uno is like a brain, right? So the brain needs to control everything. So it makes sense that the brain is connected to all those things: the motor, the sensors, and the lights. Another thing that we have before I come out of our design, we're also going to have this, a heart with a plus and minus. Okay, that heart represents the battery. So remember, going back to the human body analogy. So the heart, our heart pumps blood through our entire body so that we're able to get around and to operate. Okay, now the heart of a robot, which is a battery, pumps electricity throughout the entire thing so that it can work. So we're also going to need a robot heart, which is going to be a battery, and then that is going to be connected to everything as well. Okay, so getting a little bit crazy here. So I'll just have the heart's connected to the brain, right? The brain needs blood, right? So the brain needs electricity. It's also connected to the motor. And then I know it's getting a little bit crazy here. The lights. And I'll kind of like do a little fork in the road here. It's also connected to the sensor. Okay? So we got heart, the battery going everywhere. Okay, great. So we have electricity able to power the whole thing. We have a brain in the computer, Uno computer. Now there's one last thing. There's going to be this, a cloud. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. A cloud. Now the cloud is inside the brain. Now what do I mean by that? So the brain is a physical thing, like just like we have a brain, just like a computer is a physical thing. Like I'm touching it, right? This Uno, I'm touching it, I can feel it. But the stuff that's in the brain, like for us, our memories, our personalities, you can't touch it, right? You can, the way that we behave, the way we speak, the memories we have, like when we were young and we went to Disneyland or whatever, like we remember that stuff. You can't touch it, but it's definitely there, right? So that's what this cloud is. So there's the memory, there's the behaviors, the personality of the robot that goes into the brain that you can't touch, but will definitely determine how your robot works. That's called code. Zoom in so I can write code in there. Code. Okay? So you might have heard of coding. That's very popular right now, where you're making video games and that kind of thing, building apps for iPhones or Android phones. That's called coding. So that's all creating the personality or memories, those kind of things of your robot. Now, depending on your code, your robot will do different things. Okay? And so we'll get to that. So even after we've built everything, maybe your motor, sensors, lights, your batteries, your Uno computer, it's all connected the same way as everyone else. But if you have different code, your robot will act totally different from the other ones. All right, cool. So we have the design there. I'm gonna pause there, and then in the next video, what we're gonna do is start working on the lights. All right, I'll be right back.